Right. Got a torch. We've already kind of mapped off everything that we don't want to touch. So let's get into it. Start. Essentially all we're trying to do here is just get a functionality out of it. Alright, we want it to seal. So we want it to seal. We don't want to affect the outside very much. Now, one of those other videos I took just a little bit ago, I was talking about how to identify the plastic that you're working with. And how to identify this one. And this was PMMA was the lensing out here. And I wasn't sure if this polycarbonate would stick to it, and it actually looks like it's sticking. It actually looks like it's fusing really well to it. We'll see when we melt it and smooth it off, right? Once we fill up this bridge right here, and we try to reshape things properly, because I'm not just gonna close off. I'm just gonna actually try to reshape it how I think it was before. So I'm gonna do something, do it right. A lot of times this step takes some patience and a little bit of cooling off as you go. We'll do a little check on this plastic to make sure. Yeah, that's fusing quite well. Okay, so we know that we're good to weld everything up with the polycarbonate now. So our specially packaged and delicious food stays fresh for up to 25 years in storage. It'll be there when you need it. Go to My Patriot Supply. Polycarbonate is not usually a plastic that we weld a lot of, so I don't have thick filler rods for it, so I'm stuck using this tiny little welding rod to shove it in. So I just went and grabbed a bunch of them, so I've got to break the video again. There we go. So all we're going to do is we're just going to lay our plastic around, kind of just like plug welding with any other type of material. Start off, lay some plastic down, cool it off, just a little bit, not too much. We don't really want to completely cool it off, just a little bit. But I know it doesn't really look like a lot right now. I promise you it's going to turn out to be something. Takes a little bit to get this going. Alright, first step is always just getting plastic down, getting something to work with. Try to come from this other side. I've always really liked welding with polycarbonate. I've always considered it a really fun plastic to work with. It can have its challenges. This is not the normal that we're doing right now, so understand that much. This is out of necessity for the economy that we have right now, and struggling to get parts on a lot of things, back ordered stuff. You know, it's just mess after mess. So when you know how to do this kind of stuff, you can still be useful. As well as help get people back to their lives instead of waiting a car just sitting in a body shop for months and months and months, waiting for a part to come in. Honestly, guys, that's our biggest problem right now. Stuff is not coming in. It's just not. Wish I could say different, but it's just not. Parts aren't coming in. It's gotten better a little bit, but then it's gotten worse again. I feel like it's just... I feel it's better that we stop with the mentality of just trying to replace everything and we get back to the mentality of repairing. Alright? So that's what a lot of these videos are. It's just show you how it's done, but also to encourage people to try. Yeah, that's gonna work real nice. The main purpose we're trying to achieve here is just seal up the headlight housing, so that way it doesn't leak, it doesn't short out any of the lighting inside the or the light. Not headlight, sorry, I don't know why I said that. Make sure that until the part comes in, the light can still function properly. And we're here in the winter months of Texas, so potential for rain is here. We've had a little bit here and there. So, see, just shaping it, trying to get a generalized idea of what I want it to look like. Trying not to affect too much of the lens itself, because anytime you affect the lens, do anything to it at all, it kind of turns into this little opaque, kind of white looking stuff, and it's just, I try not to put any kind of heat or anything really on that. Try to affect it as little as possible. A lot of times too, you can have headlights where maybe a hidden spot of the headlight, the housing is cracked, the lens is cracked, and replacing it just for that's foolish when you could just melt it down, like with this crack that we have here. If this is all it was right in through here, it's a hidden point, we could always just take our iron, right, and we'll go through, we'll melt that down, right. Once that's melted down, that is sealed. That's going to have an actual seal to it. Unless there's a gaping hole in it, that's going to be sealed. Alright, so you don't have to worry about that not being sealed. It's going to be sealed. Alright, the ports we have to worry about is like in through here. Alright, so we're going to have to build all this up in through here, all in through here. We're going to have to build up a little bit down in through here. I don't really want to get too much in there. I'm going to try to melt just a little bit down here, and that's about it. Just to make sure that any of the glue, down in through here, just to make sure any of the glue or anything here hasn't separated. So we'll weld a little bit of plastic down here, but I don't want to get too much in here and damage too much of this down to here. I'm gonna have to take this plastic here and kind of push it away from the edge here, so we don't have too much on the nice shiny housing. Because we're gonna try to do a little refinishing at the end, see if we can't make it look a little bit better. But again, this is just for functionality. My OCD is what makes me want to give a better product.
She filed a lawsuit against Walmart, so Walmart will say, okay, we don't want to go to court with this. Will you take 10 grand? Now, will you take a
Also, by the way, full disclosure, I'm sure you guys all hear a radio in the background. This is not my radio. I do not talk about any of that stuff in my life. I'm not getting into politics. I'm not doing any of that stuff. I apologize if you hear it in the background. It drives me nuts on a daily basis. Because I just like to live my life not involved in that stuff. So please don't hate me or like me because of that stuff going on in the background. I'm just trying to help people learn how to do plastic repair. One day I'll have a better setup where I don't have to listen to somebody else's nonsense. I think I put a little too much plastic in that area, so I'll just got that about where I want it. Just take your time, just play with it. Right? Heat up your spade again. Right? Just keep heating up your spade, right? Get it nice and hot again. Keep playing with the plastic. Get it where you want it to be. Honestly, that's really what it comes down to is with the torch, is that I've found this to be the quickest way to get the results that I'm looking for. And when you work in auto body, like I do, getting to the result that you need at the end, the absolute quickest way possible without dilly-dallying, being efficient in what you're doing, that's what makes us money. There's no magical tooth fairy that comes and drops a bunch of money in our pockets. It's like everybody else, we gotta go get it. The way we get it is being efficient. Knowing how to do things like this can also add to your paycheck too. So I hope I eventually reach maybe some old guys been doing body work for a long time. Don't really have the desire for metal anymore. Give plastic a chance. This stuff's fun, man. Fixing plastic it's different. It's not like metal. You might like it. That's all I'm saying. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start filling in all these gaps in behind here. It's going to be hard to do. There we go. Yeah. That's a good angle. Now how to hold it. Probably shouldn't put a propane tank in front of where I'm going to put a flame. Right. So I'll use my water jug. Famous last words. Plastic's fun when you're welding it. Especially like when it starts liquefying like this. You can just really move it where you want to. Very satisfying. I used to get into those oddly satisfying videos on YouTube and everything, and man, I thought to myself, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what oddly satisfying is until you melt some plastic like this. I am so glad I got this new melting spade. This thing makes it so much quicker. So much quicker. That other one would take so long to get this much plastic melted down, smoothed out. Here you go, I got it in basically one shot, because I'm just going to shave that off there. Remember, again, this is all for functionality. I'm still trying to make it look decent, but sorry about that. Still trying to make it look decent, but perfect. Not today. Now this is going to be the challenge, is getting in that little tight area through there. Let's see if I can manage it. Kind of coming from a couple different approach angles, I guess. And all I'm doing here is I'm just making sure that the housing is sealed to the lens. Be careful. Nicely. Almost done, guys. Almost done. Tough spot right into here. Get the plastic in there. And not burn myself at the same time. So, if you want to get into plastic repair, be forewarned, you're going to burn yourself. I'm just telling you now. You're going to burn yourself. It might not be bad. It might not be great. I don't think burning yourself is ever great, but it might not be bad. Just best advice I can give is pay attention to your hand placement. Make sure your hands are not in precarious situations where you can get hurt. Even with wrapping this tape around this spade that I have here, this thing's still getting pretty warm after considerable reheatings. So something I will do in the future is make a little bit better. There's a better handle for this spade. See? I managed to get all that welded up. Not a very minor effect to the outside housing, surrounding housing, and that's what we're looking for. We didn't really want to affect that too much, so there you go. Thanks for tuning in, guys.